Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving deep into Procurement Department Management. You've given us a ton of info, so it seems like you're serious about this, which I like. We're seeing a lot about strategic sourcing, managing those global supply chains, that sort of thing. Sounds like a pretty big job, right?
Yeah, it definitely seems like you're looking at a role with some serious impact. You need to be a strategic thinker for sure, but also have that knack for building relationships, hammering out those win-win deals. And hey, I noticed you've got a lot here from RoleCatcher. Seems like you're already thinking about how to make your job search a little smarter.
Okay, so let's get into it. This role catcher guide really breaks down what procurement department managers actually do day to day. It's a mix of, well, it's not just managing people, right? You're negotiating contracts, making sure everything lines up with the company's bigger goals. It's a lot.
It is, and what's really interesting to me is the impact. Like, think about it. You could be in charge of finding sustainable materials for a new product launch. That's
Yeah.
huge. You're directly affecting your company's ethics, maybe even influencing working conditions, environmental stuff all over the world.
Wow, I didn't even think about it like that. So you're not just pushing paper, you're making a real difference. But okay, let's be honest. Every job has its ups and downs. The
Mhm.
guide actually has a whole list of pros and cons. So on the plus side, it looks like there's a lot of earning potential, which is always nice. There's a clear path to move up, and knowing that your decisions actually matter, that's pretty satisfying.
Yeah, for sure. Those are some major perks. But, those big decisions, sometimes they come with some tough choices. Like, what if you could save your company a bunch of money by switching to a cheaper supplier? Sounds great, right? But what if that supplier has, well, let's just say a questionable history when it comes to how they treat their workers? How do you deal with that? Are you willing to maybe compromise some of your own values if it means the company profits?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I guess that's where knowing yourself, knowing what you can live with really comes in. And speaking of important qualities, this guide lists a ton of skills you need. It's not all about being good with numbers, though that's obviously important. They highlight leadership, being a strong communicator, and knowing how to negotiate. Makes sense? You're leading a team and dealing with suppliers all the time.
And that's actually where this role catcher platform gets really interesting. Imagine a tool that doesn't just check your resume for typos, but actually sees if it matches what employers are looking for, specifically for a procurement department manager. Like, they have this insane database, 9 million employers. 9 million!
Whoa, 9 million. Are you serious? That's like every company on the planet. So how does that even work? Like, walk me through it.
Yeah. Okay, so basically you upload your resume and their AI does all the work. It goes through, I don't know how many job descriptions, but thousands probably, and figures out what skills are hot right now in procurement. Then it compares that to your resume, showing you where you're killing it and, well, where you might need to improve.
So it's like a personal career coach, but without all the motivational speeches and stuff. That's pretty awesome, especially in this job market.
Yeah.
But it's not just about looking good on paper, is it? You still have to nail that interview.
You got it. And that's where RoleCatcher has even more up its sleeve. They have this massive library of practice interview questions, over 120,000.
Okay, 120,000. How is anyone supposed to practice that many questions? That's insane.
Haha. Yeah, it sounds like a lot. But don't worry, they don't expect you to answer them all. They use AI again to personalize your practice based on your experience, what kind of role you want, even how you did on previous questions.
That's actually really smart. I bet that makes a huge difference, especially for people who, get a little nervous during interviews.
Yeah, totally. And get this, they even help you practice for video interviews, which are, let's be honest, kind of the worst.
Oh, tell me about it. So what, they have you record yourself answering questions?
Exactly. And then you can watch it back, see how you come across on camera. You might realize you're like playing with your hair or something, or your posture's all weird.
Okay, yeah, I can see how that would be super helpful. I do not need to see myself on camera, that's for sure. But it's probably good to know those things.
Right. And the best part is, you can practice all you want in your pajamas, no pressure. Plus, their AI can even analyze your body language, give you feedback on how you present yourself, makes you look and sound more confident.
So we've covered a lot about procurement department managers, like how they make decisions that affect way more than just their own company.
And that it goes beyond the company walls, right? Global supply chains, ethical practices, it's all connected.
And we talked about the skills you need. You got to be analytical, a good leader, a good communicator, and, well, ethical.
And let's not forget about RoleCatcher. I mean, seriously, having a tool that helps you figure out your strengths, make your resume shine, and then crush those interviews, that's huge.
Yeah, RoleCatcher sounds like it's worth checking out for sure. But we're just scratching the surface here. There's a whole career ladder to climb, and I'm curious about those transferable skills, how they can open doors to other opportunities.
One thing I really appreciate about these role catcher guides is they don't just throw you in the deep end. They actually show you the whole career path in procurement, like step by step.
That's so true. Like starting as a procurement assistant, then maybe becoming an officer, and eventually working your way up to department manager. They even have examples of real people at different stages, which is really cool.
Right. It makes it feel a lot more, I don't know, achievable, I guess. And you can see how the responsibilities change as you move up. Like as an assistant, you might be doing more support work, research, that kind of thing. But once you're an officer, you're leading projects, managing budgets, even negotiating those big contracts.
That's like those core skills we talked about, the communication, negotiation, strategic thinking. They're important at every level. And I bet seeing those real people, their stories, it helps someone actually picture themselves on that path.
Totally. And what's really cool is even if procurement doesn't end up being your like forever thing, the skills you learn, they're crazy valuable in tons of other jobs. Think about it. Analyzing markets, negotiating, managing big projects. Those are transferable skills. You can take them anywhere.
That's such a good point. It's like you're not just investing in one career, you're investing in your whole skill set,
Yeah.
which is smart no matter what. And the guide even mentions other jobs you could do, like contract manager or something called public procurement specialist. So lots of options.
Yeah, for sure. And here's the thing, with businesses going global and everything, needing people who get procurement, who can handle international stuff, ethical sourcing, all those complex supply chains, that's only going to be more important in the future.
You're totally right. It's like this career path is right at the intersection of like everything that's changing the world right now.
Yeah.
Globalization, sustainability, even tech. Speaking of tech, we've talked a lot about RoleCatcher's employer database, but it seems like they do a lot more than just list companies, right?
Oh, yeah, way more. Remember that browser thing I mentioned, the RoleCatcher.capture?
Yeah, the one that helps you save job postings.
Well, it's not just about saving them. It actually uses AI to, like, dissect those job descriptions, then compares them to your resume, like a super-powered analysis.
Whoa! So it's like having a personal branding expert, but for your resume. Is that where the AI really comes in?
Yep. Say you find a procurement officer job at a company that's big on sustainability, right? RoleCatcher's AI can scan that job description, see what they really care about, and then be like, hey, you should highlight this experience on your resume.
So it's not just about using the right keywords. It's about really tailoring your resume to each specific company. That's pretty slick.
Right. It takes out all the guesswork. No more wondering if you're doing it right.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the skills, the tools, but what about networking? That's still important, right?
Oh, absolutely. And RoleCatcher gets that. They have a whole section on building your network, going to industry events, joining professional groups, using LinkedIn, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, you got to put yourself out there, meet people in your field. It's all about connections.
Totally. And they even have tools to help you keep track of everyone, remind you to follow up, even analyze how strong your network is.
Wow, that's like next level organization. Networking can be kind of overwhelming, especially if you're not, a super extroverted person.
For sure. But having a system, that definitely makes it easier.
Totally agree. So I'm sensing a theme here beyond just the specific job of a procurement department manager. It's about being proactive, taking charge of your career, using the right tools, and building relationships.
You nailed it. And honestly, that applies to any career. But I think in procurement, where everything's so global and ethical considerations are so important, having that drive, that commitment to keep learning, that's what sets people apart.
It's amazing, right? We started looking at this one job, but it's clear that procurement is about so much more. It's like these professionals are dealing with huge things, global stuff, ethical dilemmas. It's really something.
Yeah, no doubt. And all those skills we've talked about, they go way beyond just getting hired, being adaptable, thinking strategically, knowing how to make ethical choices, having that global mindset. Those are valuable no matter what you do.
Totally. It's like a treasure chest of skills that you can use anyway. But before we finish up, I want to go back to something we touched on earlier, technology, specifically AI,
Right.
and how it's changing the way we work,
Definitely. We've seen how platforms like RoleCatcher are using it to help job seekers, but AI is a much bigger conversation, right?
For sure. It's exciting and kind of scary at the same time. I mean, think about it. AI can automate all that boring stuff, make things more efficient, maybe even create new jobs we haven't even thought of yet.
Right. But there's also that fear of like robots taking over, right? Plus, those algorithms, they aren't perfect. Could be some bias there, and people need to be ready to adapt as tech changes everything.
Yeah, it's a lot to wrap our heads around. I don't think there are any easy answers.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, we have to stay curious, keep learning, and make sure we're developing the skills that'll matter in the future.
100%. It's all about being adaptable and ready for whatever comes next. The future of work is going to be this mix of human creativity and, all this crazy technology.
Well said. So as we wrap up our deep dive into procurement department management, we want to leave you with this. How are you preparing for the future of work? What can you do today to make sure you're ready for whatever challenges or opportunities come your way?
It's been great joining you on this journey into procurement. Keep exploring, keep learning, and until next time, good luck out there.